I don't like the term infamous and I don't like the term blogger, but I guess it is what it is, right?
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Y'all, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in these streets, okay? Now, this specific video, I am going to talk about Armon, okay? Because I feel like on these social media streets, Armon is a lot of people's favorite or just simply the guy that we all love to hate. And I think that nobody has ever done a video to where we really tap into who really Armon is. And I think this video, I want to give that to you guys, okay? Because I just recently kind of got into a little bit of who Armon is. And yeah, other than him having these heavy opinions on social media and him being this type of guy, I don't think nobody really tap into who he really is. You know what I'm saying? Like his background, different things about him coming up. Now, I don't know everything, child, but I know a lot about a lot. Shout out to Tokyo Tony, because I think that she broke down a lot about who he really is. So I kind of got some clips from that. And then I actually just want to give you guys my opinion on different things about Armon. So we going to tap into Armon, and really get into who he is, okay? Because he's been blowing up. He's gonna be a huge star at some point. I mean, musician maybe. He has a lot of things coming up. He's infamous for having these different issues with these rap girls. So I know a lot of people want to know, like, who is he? Who is he? Let's get into it, okay? So yes, so Armon has 9 brothers and sisters, okay? Yes, 9, child. And he is the first. He's the oldest. And I think that him being the oldest, he kind of experienced a lot growing up, just feeling like he just wasn't enough.
But I have 9 brothers and sisters. One passed away very, very long time ago. I'm the oldest of 9 brothers and sisters. I like to call myself the experiment, the child that they had to learn and figure out. And so now my parents are now evolved, and all the younger ones, the ones that came before me, they're reaping the benefits of all the things that my parents didn't learn and all the mistakes that I made. So, I think that, my little brother probably on my dad's side is the most spoiled. And like my middle sister is probably the most spoiled on my mom's side. My sister, Ashira, she's like my mom's favorite. And then my baby brother is like my mom's like baby, but he's the youngest. So, that's her little boy.
Armon has a nickname that he's known by his family members, and it's not Armon Wiggins or nothing like that, or Armani or anything that even has to do with his name. Now, this was kind of surprising to me, but his nickname is Pompey, I think, and it's just crazy. Like, it's funny to me because I'm like, that has absolutely nothing to do with like your name being Armon, but that's his nickname.
My nickname is Pompey. I don't know where it came from, but my nickname is Pompey. She still calls me Pompey. They do not call me Armon. They call me Pompey.
The one and only thing Armand can cook is chicken. I know that's the black answer, but child, that's the only thing Armand can cook. He can only cook chicken, okay? He's not much of a cook on anything else, but he don't play about that chicken. He is the chicken extraordinaire, okay? He can make him some chicken.
I can make some tacos. I can make some fried chicken, like really good fried chicken. Like I have to really teach my man how to really batter the chicken and make the chicken and season the chicken. So I can really do the chicken. And I think that's about it.
And growing up, Armand was just, I would say, the black sheep of the family. He was the oldest. So, like, he was the beginning of everything. However, like, he felt really, like, kind of pushed out by his parents because he was gay. So he never really felt accepted. And he was the one in the family that would always, like, crash out. Like, we see him crashing out on social media kind of sometimes over these celebrities playing with him. He will definitely, clash out in his family. And he was a crash out in his family, just going crazy and just snapping off if somebody played with him. And he just had to find himself. He had a really tough time growing up just because his parents kind of did not make it. So his mom and dad was in separate relationships, and he had to figure out how to exist. And he was like their first go around. They had to get it right, but he was the first kind of the trial child. The first child is always the trial child. So he had to like figure things out to where his siblings never really, got that. They went through some hardships as well, but it never hit as quite as he, things that happened with him, because his mom and dad was together and then they broke up. So he was kind of like having to exist within these split, households. And he just never ever felt like accepted or cared for until he got, at this point in his age. But when he was younger, he never really felt like the love, from his mom and dad. He felt like he was the outcast, like he just was different. And then he was gay on top of it. Black folks don't really accept that gay stuff, allegedly. But that's how he was feeling, and that's all that happened with him. And it just was a lot for him growing up, and I think it molded him to become the man that he is today.
It was one of those things where I felt a lot of pressure because I was gay, right? And so in my family, they didn't accept that, neither my mom or my dad. So, we really couldn't talk about those things. I had to figure that out on top of being the oldest. So for a long time, I had a lot of regret because I would move around a lot. I would move to Houston and Vegas and Atlanta. I left when I was like 17, like, it's a long story. So me and my stepmom really didn't get along, and I didn't get along with my stepdad, and so it was easy for them to like, I got shipped away to this college career start program, which was great. One of the best times I had in my life in Florida. I got shipped there for a while. And then, from that point, I got a taste of like what freedom looked like. Never wanted to come back home because I'm like, well, I get to be gay. I get to figure my life out. And so I was like running around trying to chase that and trying to figure out who I was at 17, 18. And so I had a lot of regret though, because, while I'm outside trying to figure out who I am, my little brothers and sisters, they're growing up, and then, and sometimes they didn't really get along with my step parents, so it was a lot of issues there. Me being the older brother, I'm the one that'll crash out. Like I'm bucking up at my stepmom, I'm bucking up at my stepdad. I'm pissed. I was angry for a long time. But for me, I think that, I'm proud to where I'm at now because I always let them know I don't care how old y'all get or how young and fly y'all think y'all are. Y'all never gonna be flyer than me. Y'all never gonna be cooler than me. So, but my siblings, they inspire me, but I think I like to feel like I've given, even though I wasn't there all the time, I like them to look up at their big brother and be inspired.
And Armand's big thing with his family is to be an example for his siblings, like he wants to be the guy that did it right, so his siblings can see that, hey, our big brother really was out here doing it. Like he really worked his butt off and accomplished a lot. He's not just out here, going on social media consistently every day, making a coin and it's all about money. He wants to kind of set a legacy for his family, his name, for his siblings to look at and see that, hey, your big brother did it, so you could do it too. He wants to be the example that his siblings can look at, his family can look at and say, yeah, we put him through all of this, or he went through all of these different things, but he made it out and he's set a table for himself. He's this big personality, like he comes from something just super major, and he wants his siblings to be inspired by him.
I really want to set the bar high so that they can surpass me one day. But and the hope is that they surpass me, but it needs to be high enough to where if they surpass me, they damn near, they worked for it. Set the bar so I inspire them to be the best versions of themselves. And by doing that, I think I try to be the best version of myself and give them something to look up to as their older brother.
And a lot of people look at Armand on socials and they think that like he was that type of kid. Like, was he a bully? Like, was he a bully? Was he bullying people coming up? Was he a bully kid? Like, what type of energy or little boy was he? He was actually very flamboyant, and he wasn't the bully, like the kind of kid that somebody could bully because he was watching these Wendy Williams, watching these big time, personalities on the internet. So you couldn't really bully him as a kid, but just know that he did have his share of people who judged him or whatever because they felt as though he was gay. There was that. But as far as bullying him, he never really had experiences with that because he was ready. If you went there, he was a little messy kid, but he wasn't like, what I'm saying? You can't just bully him, what I'm saying? And he never received that type of energy to where somebody would try him, but there was people kind of coming at him, you know what I mean, about him just potentially being gay.
I never really was like bully. Like, because here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was in 3rd and 4th grade watching The Real World and watching Ricky Lake and Tempest Bledsoe and Jenny Jones. And so I was already ready to read a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So, I would reenact scenes that I saw on reality TV. And, I'm ready to go to school and, put my hand in the bitch face. And, I used to look up to like people like Coral and Anissa and shit like that. So that was always my vibe. Now, granted, well, there was the guys that thought I was gay, so they tried to make fun of me, so they would try me here and there. So I would get into fights, but at the end of the day, I was more of the person that, I had a good time. I was more fun, had a large personality. Like I was dancing, I was singing, I was always performing. So I never really got bullied. Was I a little bit messy and here for the tea? Yeah.
One of his fondest memories is going to school with his dad in the morning and listening to these different musicians that his dad put him on. He kind of credits his dad as far as giving him a lot of his musical taste and how, they would bond together and listen to these different songs, and how he really got introduced to music through his father, and his love for music comes from his father. So he kind of, talks about that and talks about how they like the connection to these different artists and how it came heavily, like from his dad and what his dad introduced him to. And Aaliyah was a big person that they listened to together.
My dad, so we're from the city, but we lived in Richmond. Richmond, California. So we would have to drive over the bridge every day to go to school, because I would go to school in San Francisco. He would work in the city, but we lived across the bridge. And so my dad loved Lil' Kim. He loved Joe, Brian McKnight, Foxy Brown, Total. We would get into the things. Like that was how I first got introduced to music. And my dad, he would go and burn the CDs, and he'd teach me how to mix the CDs and buy me a little CD player. And then we talk about, what new album is out. And he'd be like, you ain't heard this one. You ain't heard this one yet. Then he'd be like, get this CD. And then he had this big old thing with CDs in there. But then if you fucked it up, he cursed you out. Living room, he had this tall CD stand with all his CDs in there, in the thing. He'd go burn. He'd keep their originals in the case, but then he'd burn it on the computer so he can put it in the car so we can listen to it. And then sometimes he'd burn me a little mix and I'd listen to that. And for some times he would love me to listen to Joe and Luther Vandross and sing some of those songs for my uncle's a wedding and stuff like that. He'd be like, I want you to sing this song by Joe, or I want you to sing that and try this. And he would just always, that was our time where we would bond on the way to school. Me and my dad had a really good relationship with music, and there's still songs to this day that I think about. And Aaliyah was that's one of my favorite artists of all time. And so we would listen to her all the time. I mean, age ain't nothing but a number, 1 in a million. My God, try again. Boy, hawk in the sky, and you were my friend. I love all of Aaliyah, okay?
Now, when we get into Armon as far as his story, what started this whole blogging or vlogging or social media content creator thing, influencer, where did it all start from? Where does it all come from? It just really gets into it. We're about to get into it. Where did this come from? How is he the big Armon Wiggins?
Before social media, I was the talk of the city. I was reporting family news. I used to be a dancer for MC Hammer. I almost didn't even graduate. Yeah, I almost didn't even graduate high school because I was performing at the VMAs in 2005, child. I was trying to get homeschooled during that time. But yeah, I was always me. So the thing about it is, people are just now catching up. For a while, I used to think that I had a personality disorder because people always used to be like, you're so obnoxious. You're just so loud. You always like to talk on the phone. And I just told myself, you know what? I'm going to make money for me one day somehow. Okay. And so I used the very thing that people used against me to try to harm me, and I monetized it. I used to get in trouble for sitting on the phone all the time, at my house, and my stepmom used to pick up the other landline and intrude on my conversation, tell me to get off the phone, shit like that. Yeah. And so, now I make money to sit on the phone. Now I make money to talk. I never knew that I wanted to do it. I always kind of did it. I wanted to be, I thought I wanted to be a dancer and a singer and all this, but I lived in Houston at one point, went through a lot, child. I was going to school for real estate, but I did a little fraud, having to go to jail for a little bit, child. Went to jail, got on probation. It was a lot of things going on. And I kind of had to, reset everything. Instead of really resetting, I packed up my apartment and drove to Atlanta. And so I was working at this call center. I think it was like a Verizon call center. Long story short, these two girls, they loved my personality because I would always have them up there laughing. We'd be kikiing and stuff. And they were like, this was around 2015. They were like, hey, have you ever done a podcast? I didn't know what a podcast was. And I was like, no, I want to go to school for real estate. So long story short, they ended up having me come on and do a podcast episode with them. It was amazing. I loved it. Eventually, they ended up firing me because, I think that I was getting a little bit more attention than them. And so when my homegirls was like, hey, you need to continue doing that. And so I just started telling stories about, the boys that I would talk to in the little dates I would hook up with in Atlanta. And then I ended up moving back home and I just started running with it on Facebook and I started reporting different stories. And, at some point I started making money, but then I would watch T.S. Madison a lot and she kind of inspired me to do it as well. And so at that point I said, hey, I could probably do this because if I can make $100, I can make 1,000. And if I can make 1,000, I can make 10,000. If I can make 10,000, I can make 100. You know what I'm saying? And I did just that. And so, and it got to a point to where, I was tired of working jobs because, I don't think I'm really hireable. And I just feel like the 9-to-5 life, I always end up checking somebody because they got me fucked up. I don't think I could really work for somebody like that. And so, and I told myself, I said, because I was a real flighty person, like I would change, I would move, and I would start stuff and I would stop stuff a lot. So I said, if you can consistently do this, personality media thing for a year, then maybe it's your thing. So it turned into 1 year, 2 years, and here we are, like damn near 10 years. I kind of started at the 2015.
Wow.
20, and so I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, 9 years, and I've been consistently doing it full time since 2019. So for 5 years, quit my job in 2019 and just said, what, I'm gonna bet on myself and I'm gonna do it. And honestly, I've made the most money doing it. I've had the best experience doing it. I've had extreme highs. I've had some extreme lows. And the biggest thing for me was to prove my parents wrong because they didn't understand it. You know what I mean? They did not understand the concept of this, but I needed to break out of that web of 9-to-5 because I did not like seniority rules on the job. I didn't like having my days messed up. Yeah, I didn't like not being able to go hang out with my family at the barbecues because I had to close or, just pressure. Time started to matter to me more the older I got. And I was realizing, hey, I'm spending majority of my time at this job and I don't have any time for what I really care about.
Right.
And so I had to really focus on that. And I said, hey, the only way that I'm going to reach and live in the way I want to live, I'm going to have to do it on my own. And Absolutely. So that's kind of where we're at. And I just wanted my parents before they died to be able to see like, yo, my son, I knew he was a star. And maybe if I don't see him on big screen, I'm going to see him in his own right being a star. And so I just want them to see that. And I wanted my brothers and sisters to know, hey, you can do this too. So I think that now I'm at a point where me and my dad, we can talk money. I don't have to borrow. I don't have to ask him for anything now. At this point, he's now showing me his accounts because he know I got more than him.
And there have been a lot of conversation as far as Armon and narcotics because people say that he's been on the white girl, and people saying that he's done other drugs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean. Has indulged in other other things that he's done. Addiction things, has he tried marijuana? Has he tried drinking? Like, what has he done? And he's been very vocal about him drinking and just everything that he's done as far as narcotics. He's been saying like, yeah, I've done some drugs. Okay, I've tried different things. I've been around the world and yeah. he done some things. Okay, and he's never hid from it. He's been very vocal as far as him doing drugs and trying drugs. That's probably why he doesn't heavily talk about people and their addictions, on the socials, because he's known and he's understood that he's tried some things, done some things his damn self, so he's not trying to go there. And I think I understand that. I understand that everybody has done something or tried something, but he's been completely vocal. But people online have been saying that he's been messing around with the white girl. But it's been a lot okay, a lot about him and addiction things.
Okay, so I'm definitely more of a drinker of light tequila all day. I do not go off. I do not go off at the white. No, I don't go off, and the dark just is like it just makes me feel nauseous and just sick. And smoking weed, I just can't do it. If I am going to do it, it has to be a sativa. It can't or indica hybrid. I can't do no indicas because indicas really sleepy, and then just weed in general makes me get in my head. I get really bad anxiety. I be thinking I'm gonna die, girl. It just be a lot. I be thinking bitches is after me, and I have to get up out of there. Now I'm not on any kind of medications, but I never run away from the idea that baby, I have indulged. I've done cocaine before. I've done pills before. I've done those things. I have had my times, but I'm not a drug addict. Sit up here and be like, bitch, I ain't never been outside, bro. That's crazy. Okay, I'm gonna do you.
And Armon is known for a bunch of different things. You know, he's known for the social media. He's known for the spiritual. He's known for music. You know, he just dropped his EP that was on a like the top of the charts on the R&B. You know, he's done a lot of different things. A lot of people know him and like him for different things. So I think that, you know, wherever you're coming from or whoever is listening to this, like what level of Armon, you could put it in the comments. Do you like the music Armon, the, you know, celebrity gossip, social media Armon? Do you like the Armon musician? You know, what kind of Armon do you like? Let's really talk about that.
I'm also working on my, spiritual business too, where I'm teaching people manifestation and becoming a manifestation coach. The 60-day manifestation challenge, where you give up something for 60 days in order to manifest something in your life. I've been doing it for the last 2 years. It's really been working for me. And I'm teaching people how to script and do things like that. And so I'm really getting into that and like my spiritual tarot readings. I'm on Fiverr. So if anybody wants to book readings there, you can get me on Fiverr there. So yeah, I do a lot of different things. I'm working on music. I have 2 songs that I have recorded right now. I'm going to be adding 3 more songs because I also want to do a little EP for my fans that like my music. And so, I have different areas of people that like me. There's people that like me for the celebrity news, which I make majority of my money on. Then I have the people that like me for my spiritual content. And then I have a few of my fans that love me for my music and my song. Oh, well, I have music right now on Spotify. I'm Armon everywhere, but they're older songs. I think artists just be ready for their other shit because I'm like, my sound is completely different now.
And I think that we should also get into the idea of Armon and all these internet beefs, or it just seems like he's like turning into the infamous Armon Wiggins, kind of what he said Tasha K is. It's kind of very, I would say, interesting seeing him transition in these different spaces and him just being this standalone individual. It's like he's polarizing. He's very entertaining to watch. He's very, becoming a big figure. He's becoming like a celebrity himself, It seems like the sky's the limit and he can touch anything and he can do anything. And these big time stars, where a lot of people have a tremendous amount of respect for, are watching to see what he says or what he does, his next move, People are looking to see who his friends are. Who is he getting close to? Who is he connecting to? How can we like really look at him, or, when he's around certain people, it's becoming that type of energy. It makes you really question like who Armon is, who is Armon friends? You know what I'm saying? All of that just is just a very interesting thing. And I think a lot of people go into that when they, think about Armon, like who is he connected to?
I thought everybody was my friend, but then it got to a point being on YouTube and then growing as a blogger and as a personality or as an influencer, although I'm not a celebrity, you still obtain an amount of visibility, influence. Yeah. And so there's times where people that you came up with or people that you rock with, they see that and, in their mind, they feel like your success should be their success, or you should somehow give it to them when it's given to you. And if you don't give them your success, they turn their back against you and then op up in order to exploit your relationship for their come up. I've had friends that literally will get and because you are the popular one, people look at them and perceive them as the underdog and will believe everything that they say because they were attached to you. So now I'm at a point where I don't let everyone be attached to me, because I've had people literally sit up here and do interviews and lie on me as my friend, or attempts to expose me to try to hurt me, or people trying to stalk me. It's just like the craziest things. And so now I just think that, this is might sound really, really shallow. I only rock with bad bitches and only bad bitches that got, like I can't, I can't fool with ugly bitches and bitches because they just don't have it. Them ugly
Right.
bitches and them broke bitches, they're always going to be mad. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, bitch, if you don't got the look, if you don't got the feel, if you don't got the vibe, bitch, someday you're going to be mad and you're going to turn on me, bitch, because you just ain't going to make it. So my friends, all seriousness, my friends, some of them I met on the internet. And they're not content creators, they're not YouTubers. They literally are my friends. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't care about this stuff. They may watch the interview, they may not. But because they don't have to, because we're friends in real life. And so I like those kind of people. When I get off this camera, it's not, oh bitch, this and that. It's like, girl, they almost don't even know what's going on with me. They like, we want to get drinks. To them, this is the job. They're not, they're not amazed by Armon Wiggins, the blogger, the Armon Wiggins, they don't care about that. They like, bitch, come on, hurry up and get off that interview because we got shit to do. You know what I mean? Those are my friends. And I just think that I have to get very selective, especially being in a city like LA where everybody talks. This is the most pretentious place I've ever lived in my entire life. You cannot trust anyone in this city, and you just don't know, especially when you're in the space of gossip like me. Come on now. And when you talk about other people's lives, you got to know that people are trying to wheel and deal and tell stories about your life to other people, especially if they feel slighted. So I think that my inner circle is really, really tight. And all of my friends, they signed NDAs. And they've agreed to it. And not that I'm like holding them to it. I just want to see, would you do it? And every person that did it without a problem is still here to this day. The bitches that was like, why? I'm your friend. I don't need to sign. Girl, they're not my friend no more because they started doing weird shit. So I'm really cautious about the people I call my friends now.
In the past, it's been a lot of craziness as far as Armon not liking African American people and black women specifically. And people have been saying that, they don't feel as though that he likes black women. I don't want to touch too much on it, but I want to talk about him just being LGBTQ plus, because I feel like the whole him and like black women is a whole nother video. But him being LGBTQ plus and how, people perceive him and how people treat him, people of color and different things. And they think that, how people are with the gay and him being gay and how he been treated. I think he has gravitated a lot towards, Caucasian individuals because he feels more accepted and he doesn't feel like his black people, accept him because a lot of black people, don't necessarily agree with or understand the fact that he's a gay male. And I think that there's a lot of hurt from that, especially when we think about his childhood and how he comes from, not at first being accepted by his own family. So I don't think he wants to keep going through that.
The mixed crowds and white people and other races, they treat you better than sometimes your own people. When you go to the black places, you feel like bitches is looking at you funny. They want to fight. They feel away. White people is buying shots. They dancing with you. They want to network for real. They support you. They support you for real. And so now I'm learning, even in career and in my life, to broaden out and, fuck this black Hollywood shit, because this black Hollywood, it's a chitlin circuit and everybody is trying to tear each other down. I need to get with the white people because that's who's really supporting. Black people just want to see you go up just to bring you down. You know what I mean? And so I'm noticing a lot about that. So I'm trying to open up my understanding for different cultures.
And I think that that's very interesting because just because you are trying to broaden your horizons, I don't personally believe that it means that, you can't accept or gravitate towards your own people. However, I do understand that, once you are in the black community, it does feel like they build you up just to bring you down. So I definitely understand what he meant as far as that goes. But, they have some black people that are there for you. They have some black people that are supported, it's like gonna support you or supportive of you. So I just think that you just have to pick your crowd and pick your people, find your people.
When I go to the gay club, we don't have no place where we can really get hip hop music. We're on the corner, on the side and back and around. Everywhere you go for gay people, it's more about white gay people. These laws are in place to protect white gay people. And them white people are just as prejudiced and racist. Those white gay people are just as prejudiced and racist as heterosexual white gay people. So when I go to the bars and stuff, they look at me like a nigga. I'm still a nigga.
I think the last thing I want to talk about with Armon is his relationship and how delicate it is. He kind of talks and have talked about having or wanting to have children, and how he feels as though he's late to that part, but he's in love, he's happy, he loves his man. He is happy, he's at a good place right now with his relationship. And but he does put his social media above his relationship, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because that's kind of different, it's not what people expect. However, I think it's a good thing for him because he feels as though, like, this is my passion, I love doing this just me being a personality is something I look forward to doing. And as far as my relationship status, he can leave me any day at any point and I'll have nothing. But if I keep going with my, entertainment, me being a personality, me being an influencer, I can garner money. I can be, go big time and just be this huge personality. However, with my relationship, it is no telling how that can grow or not grow or what it can turn into. So he's saying that, but he loves his man and he's happy with his relationship.
Everybody knows I have a relationship, but there's this idea where you have to appear single because, I mean, that's just what it is. Nobody wants to have somebody on TV that's like they're super married and booed up. Damn, you can't even have fun. And so we've learned that because we used to watch Wendy Williams a lot. And, although she was married, she's still able to say this person is fine and that person looks good because it's like, you got to be able to do that, and I think that, early on in our relationship, he knows that there's Armon, the personality, then there's Armon, the boyfriend. So some of this stuff it's for the show. If he leaves me tomorrow, all I have is this, people change. So I don't know, like, and I would like him to stay and be there, but he's a different person. So at the same time, I think for a long time, it was like my career because I was getting it off the ground. I think I'm at a cool point. I'm still thriving, but hey, you got to understand that I'm doing this for us. And if you can, who I am. So if this doesn't work for you, you can go, because I'm gonna just be real. The career, because the thing is, I cannot make you happy, or I can't if I'm not happy. And in order for me to be happy, I have to be doing what I need to do to be happy as a person. And that's where I can bring positive energy to you. If I'm only focused on trying to make you happy, which I can't make you happy, and I'm not happy, you're going to be miserable in my energy. So I'm going to say the career first, because that's what gives me the fulfillment that makes me a happy person. And then when you see me, you get happy vibe and happy energy, which and then in turns makes you a happier person because I'm happy to be around because I'm happy.
Now I'm going to share the clip with you all where he talks about wanting to be a father.
It's actually a little bit late because I really was supposed to be a dad by last year. But for me, the career stuff started taking over. And I had to realize I'm a little bit more selfish right now. And I'm still kind of outside, still trying to get my bearings and still trying to like figure it out. But I do plan on getting a house and then eventually like adopting. I just always was trying to figure out, how is that going to work? Am I going to be able to adopt? Am I going to get it with my partner? Or, if he doesn't want one, am I just going to not do it? You know what I mean? And I want to give my parents that. So I'm hoping by 40, I'll at least have a son. You know what I mean? I do want a kid.
You got 4 years.
Yeah. And you know what? I think I'll be ready by then. I think I'll be ready. I think I'll be ready.
Now, I'm going to wrap it up with this and say that to know Armon is to love Armon, the good, the bad, the complicated, everything, You kind of have to get to know him and just really, truly understand who he is at his core and accept him at his core, It comes with the crazy. It comes with the bad. It comes with the great. It comes with the fantastic. It comes with, it's like a multi-layered individual, but take the time to get to know him, get to know what he's about, get to know him for yourself, and base your decision on that. Nobody's perfect, so don't expect Armon to be. But I think it's really amazing, and hopefully I did a wonderful job giving you guys a little breakdown into who Armon is. Who is the infamous Armon Wiggins, this content creator, this, larger than life personality individual. It's like you have to get into him and give him grace because he is, trying to figure life out as we all are. There's never a time or age range to where you know it all. But, we have all been here on his journey and while he goes goes through content creation, YouTube, whatever, and he grows as a, you know, influencer. But I think it's a wonderful, you know, journey to witness. There are some good pieces, some crazy pieces. I'm gonna, you know, a lot of times when I talk about Armon, I'll explore everything, you know, but I think it's very entertaining to watch him and to know whose side is he gonna be on. Is he gonna be on Cardi's side? Is he gonna be on Nicki's side? Which one of the girls he's going to be on their side at this point? You know, he's a very multi-layered person, and I think he's very entertaining. And I think that we gave him a platform. We allowed him to be a content creator and make money off of his content creation. So we can't be mad that he's, you know, making money and he's growing and all of these different things. You know, he's done his big one, and now we celebrate him. I don't know, but y'all let me know what y'all think about, you know, Armon all together. I'm gonna play this last little clip, and bye guys. I love you guys so much.
Having this outlet has enabled me to dream and have great visions and do shit like this. You know what I mean? And not have to worry about clocking into a job that I hate every day. Who you getting right now is who I am. You get what I'm saying? I'm a little bit more dialed back now when I'm in public, just because, and everybody's looking for a moment to try to get something to catch you slipping, and you just don't know who to trust. But at the end of the day, I'm a big old goofball. I'm a cackle. I'm a goofball. I'm corny as hell, and I really don't give a fuck about this shit. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm really a cool ass nigga. Like, if you really get to know me.